Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Talk podcast. This is so much better than what I did 30 seconds ago because I started talking to record this episode. I was like, why are there no voice wave things as I'm recording into the voice memo app on my phone? And it's because I forgot to turn on the microphone. So I'm glad I have my phone right in front of my face, or I probably would have recorded this whole episode realizing I never turned on the microphone. But hello, welcome back to another episode. Streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, anywhere you stream your podcast, or we are here on YouTube, Girls Gotta Talk podcast. You could come subscribe, join the fam over here. First things first, before we get into this episode, if you don't follow the Girls Gotta Talk podcast Instagram, you should, first of all. Second, I had posted a story the other day saying that I've been not able to freaking maintain a schedule, which is kind of driving me crazy, but I'm kind of not trying to stress it so much. So basically, going forward, I used to have all my episodes going up Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and at this moment, they're just kind of going up when I can get them up, if that makes sense. I would love to stay on a schedule, but for some reason, in my head, it's making more sense to just skip a week instead of posting anywhere between Wednesday and Saturday, or literally anywhere in the week at all, I guess. But if I can't actually get an episode up at Wednesday at 3 p.m. like I was, for some reason, I was like, okay, I guess I'm missing this week. And I'm like, that doesn't even kind of make sense. I could literally post an episode at any time. Granted, like I said, schedule would be more effective for me, but if I can't, I can't. I'm not trying to stress it so much right now. It kind of messed me up this week because typically I've been trying to record on Mondays on an in-between of me getting out of work and going to pick my son up from daycare. And Monday was holiday. Monday was President's Day. They had schools and daycares closed, so there was no in between for me this past Monday. I literally left work and went to go meet Julian to take JJ. So there was no that little moment of being able to record a podcast. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get one done this week. I'm going to miss another week. And then I was like, I could literally record on Thursday. Granted, it's after the time I would normally upload, but at the time I was thinking, and I was like, it is what it is. If that's when I could record, that's when I'm going to record. So this might be up Thursday. This might be up Friday. I don't really know yet, but yeah, I'm just putting that out there. There's probably going to be no schedule until further notice type of situation, but I am still going to try to get out at least an episode one day during the week. Don't know what day that's going to be, but at least one day during the week. But yeah, that's only update I have for you guys to start off this episode. This episode, I actually kind of found the idea scrolling through Instagram, and it kind of got me thinking. Of course, this is the thing that gets me thinking on things, but I saw this post. I honestly don't even know who posted it. I don't know what account I was looking on. And it was a whole bunch of things. And it was basically a lies I used to tell myself type situation. And there was one thing where it's I don't know what it said otherwise, but it was oh, my parents don't love me. I didn't do good on this. And it was when the truth is your parents will always love you type of situation. And it was little things like that, lies you tell yourself when in reality it's so false. It's just not true at all. So it kind of got me thinking because I was like, wow, I wonder what things I have gone through in life and told myself, and then now I'm thinking and I'm like, wow, that was so not true. Why would I ever try to say that to me or say that in general when this could happen or that could happen type of situation. Um, it was funny because when I was Googling like the concept of like lies we tell ourselves, the one um example that was on there literally said, I struggle to admit how much money I really spend on coffee each week. And I kind of felt that. I'm not going to lie. I felt that so bad. I am always like, oh, $3, like $3 on a coffee, that's not bad. And then I'm like, wow. So if you go 3 days or 3 days, if you go $3 for 7 days of the week, like that's actually $21 on coffee. I don't know if that's a lot or not. Like part of me is like, wow, like $21 on coffee for a week when I could literally probably make coffee at home and just be spending X amount of money, like either a couple weeks or like a month getting like coffee creamer or something. But I was like, all right, cool. Like that's a good start to this. Um, so I did compose a little list of, I feel like, lies I've either told myself or just lies in general. That's probably like, I don't want to say common, but um things people have probably said to themselves. I want to say probably at least once within their life. I did kind of look up, I don't want to say definition, but kind of like a meaning in a way. I did find on Google, it said, people tell themselves lies, also known as self deception, when they convince themselves of something that is not true. Self deception can involve convincing oneself that something is true so that they don't have to acknowledge the deception. And that's when I was like, there's definitely things I have told myself to convince myself of like a certain situation or like why I didn't want to do this or why I couldn't go here or something like that. The first thing off of that is I don't have time. I feel like I tell myself all the time, I don't have time. Like I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I have work, want to go be with my son. Like I just don't have the time during the day to like get something done. Like I just said Monday, I didn't have the time to record a podcast episode. Technically, you always, I feel like, have time. Like if you really wanted to do something, you would literally make the time. I could have made the time Monday night or something like that to sit and record an episode to still have it ready for Wednesday. At that point, like it is my fault that I did not. I think I rather like when I put my son to bed, he's a big will you lay with me type of person. He's been getting into Ninja Turtles lately. So he likes to sit there and want to watch an episode of Ninja Turtles. And then I try to put him in his crib. And he's a big, will you lay with me? And will you hold my hand? And like all that stuff, which is super cute to me. Like that is so cute. Like they're only going to be this little once. Why am I going to say no? Like, how can I say no to that? So, of course, I'm going to take the time to lay with him until he falls asleep, whether it's laying just on the floor next to him, like when he's in his crib, like I'm on the floor, literally right there where he can see me, either laying there or holding his hand. Like, I'm not going to be like, sorry, buddy, I got things to do. Like, at that point, I'd rather sit there and lay there than record an episode. Like, I'm so sorry for you guys, but I'd rather lay there holding his hand, taking up my entire night than trying to force myself to record an episode and just get it done for a certain time. When, like I said before, like I could get it out anytime during the week. Like, yes, did I want them on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. specific? Yes. But like, if I can't, I can't. Like, if it's still gonna go out, in my opinion, then I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily see like the big problem there, but I feel like I just use the I don't have time way too much for myself, and that's when I end up either not doing things for myself or not doing things at all. And sometimes like it could be like an instance where I did really want to do that or I did really want to go there, but I don't know. The next thing I had was I can't ask for help. This I, I don't want to say I've kind of outgrown this because 100% like I have not. I can tell you that right now, but I feel like I never wanted to ask for help for anything because it was either a situation where people are going to be like, oh, well, she can't do this. Like, she's not capable of this if she needs the help. Or, I don't know, I don't want to say like I look weak when I need the help, but sometimes, like, if I'm really struggling, like, if I get to the point of like about to have a mental breakdown, I'll be like, okay, I need help with this really bad. But it also depends on the situation where I'm like, I can't ask for help for this. Like, no one's going to want to help with this. When in reality, like, there's probably at least one person out there that'll help you with anything. Anything you ask, I'm sure there's at least one person in your life that's going to be like, of course, or you can always ask for help, or I'll always help you with it, like anything. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not I haven't fully been the type of person that like asked for help every time I needed help. There's definitely situations where I'm just like, I know I can't do this alone, or I can't do this by myself. But yeah, I feel like you should just never be afraid to ask for help no matter what the instance is. The next thing I had was, if I ignore it, it will go away. Yeah. I feel like if I get if I get so stuck in a situation and just ignore it, I'm like, oh, over time, like, it'll just disappear. It'll not be a problem anymore. Usually it's the opposite effect. It's usually, if I ignore it, it's going to come back full force. It's going to come back probably worse than how it was when I was trying to ignore it in the first place. Um, yeah, definitely the biggest lie you can tell yourself. If you ignore it, it might go away for a little bit, enough time for you to be like, oh, it's totally fine. Like, everything's okay. It's not fully gonna be. I'll be the one to break that to you. It's not fully gonna go away. Like, it will come back. And usually it's at like the worst time possible. So I don't know, I feel like it's better off. I've learned to just face things right in the time and place that it's coming up, or either bothering you or something, but ignoring it, take it from me, does not make it any better, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you that, but like I said, take it from me, I could tell you that one is probably the worst lie I've probably ever told myself. But the next thing that I had was, I don't have a choice. Um, I feel like part of me would tell this lie to myself during work days, during basically just job purposes. Obviously, in a job, like, you do have a choice. You don't fully have to stay when you don't have to. You don't have to go into work on your day off. But I feel like I always told myself, like, oh, well, they don't have this person, or they don't have this, and they're super busy. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, I have to go and help them. Like, I feel like I was always a person that could never put work aside, which, in terms, let me tell you, is really bad. You definitely want to be able to separate like work life and like outside of work life. I'm not saying I have 100% even done that, but I feel like I've gotten a little better, if I may say so. But um, yeah, you always have a choice in any type of situation in your life. The next thing that I had was, my worth is determined by my work. Again, this kind of goes back to, can't ask for help. I feel like if you're trying to do things on your own, like, I don't know, people are going to be like, oh, well, she could either do this, she can handle this, she can be able to do this on her own. Like, if she needs help, then I don't know if we could trust her with all, like, it was just, it's a bunch of lies, let me tell you. Like, thinking that people will think of me better by how I did or accomplished something. Um, in reality, people will determine like how I am as a person, or how you are as a person, by your personality, by how you treat someone, by how you talk to someone, how you respond to something. Not necessarily by the work I did. I mean, granted, like, depending on situation, like how you either handled or worked on something, like the way someone from the outside looks at it can kind of, they'll see you as a person. Um, but I feel like that shouldn't entirely be how your worth is determined, so to speak. So I feel like that gets up there on like a big spectrum of lies to yourself. I don't know if I'd consider trying to focus and do something to a certain degree to tell someone like how to look at me or how to think of me or anything like that. Another another big one for me is I'll do it later. This one gets me sometimes because for me, procrastination is a killer. Like if I ever am like, oh, I'll just do that later, I probably 99% of the time will not do it later. I probably won't even do it the next day. Um, it'll probably be more like in a few days, depending on what I'm actually putting off. I know I definitely even to this day still use that a lot. Whether it's cleaning or I'm trying to put something away, I'm trying to organize it. One instance with me is laundry. When I do laundry and I like keep it in my basket or like I'll even just dump the basket on my bed when it's done drying and everything and I'm like, "Okay, I'll fold that later." When I tell you half the times I've done that thinking, "Oh, if I have it on my bed in order to get in my bed or to go to sleep or anything, I'm gonna have to fold the clothes and put them away." Yeah, no. Tell me why every time I do that 9 times out of 10, I'm just putting the clothes back in my basket. I think what I need to do for myself is like dump the clothes on my bed and put whatever dirty clothes or something in the basket. That way I can't put my clothes back in the basket. At that point, I would have to fold it, but clearly I haven't fully got onto that concept yet because I just end up taking the clothes from my bed and putting them back in the basket. And then they're usually not getting folded until I have another like embarrassing but like big pile of dirty clothes or something on my floor that I'm like, okay, this needs to get picked up, like this is disgusting, and then end up picking them up and that's when I'm like, oh, I gotta fold these clothes. Yeah, I'll do it later is probably in the top, I would say top 5 of lies I tell myself. I would even say top 3. Definitely top 3. I'm trying to think of what else do I push off. I used to push off homework in school so bad. That was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'll just do that later. Like I'll come home and like take a nap and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do homework later. Probably not good, but well, it definitely wasn't good. But what else? What else? I'll do it later. There's probably a lot of things. A lot of things where I'm just like, I'll push it off. Like I'll do it another hour. Never end up getting to it. And then the next day I'm like, oh my God, I never did that. I'll just do it later. Still, again, never did that. Mm, yeah. I thought I'd have more like examples for that one. I don't know why nothing is coming to mind. But anyways, that's the list I had myself. Um I don't know what yours are. I'm sure now that you've heard this or if you like see a post or anything, you'll start thinking of things you told yourself and you'll be kind of surprised by what you tell yourself. I don't even want to say on a daily basis, but even like throughout the week when you're either going to school or going to work or trying to like do something else and you like tell yourself something that you're going to push off. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept when you sit down and think about it. I didn't realize there was like probably so much I was telling myself where I was like, wow, like that was probably the biggest lie I could have told myself. Um but coming up, I do hopefully have a guest episode coming soon. I feel like I've mentioned it a few times, but I haven't been able to actually sit and record it yet. So that hopefully is coming in the future. Like I said, um no, if I end up posting the next couple episodes on a Wednesday, it's just because I was able to do so. I'm not necessarily looking at schedule wise going forward, but hopefully we'll be kind of on track, staying on track. I'm just kind of not pushing myself until further notice to get things done. I don't even want to say like on a timely manner, but just how I've been trying to have things. But with that being said, that is all I have for this episode. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you next week back with a brand new episode. Bye.